Alright, hey guys, this is Maros TCG back in the video, and with this video we'll be bringing a Gishki deck profile, and this is for Photon Hypernova, and yeah, let's just get started here. So I run 3 copies of Gishki Shadow. This card is great because it fulfills the water ritual tribute that you need, and you can also discard it to add a Gishki ritual spout card. So obviously you're going to want this card just to cycle things. Here we have 3 copies of Gishki Abyss. This card is amazing. It's really the kind of like the most important card in the deck, just because when this card is summoned you can add one Gishki monster with 1000 or less defense from your deck to your hand. So the great thing about that is that it lets you search out a lot in this deck. Yeah, the main ones you're going to be searching out are Gishki Shadow and Gishki Vision, but Gishki Abyss is important because, well, Gishki Abyss and Gishki Vision are pretty important for going into the whole Link 2 like sprite build, but obviously I'm not going to be doing that. This is more of a pure build, just because I think it's more interesting to actually show Gishki on its own before showing a Gishki sprite build that's more like level 2, rank 2 abuse. But yeah, Gishki Abyss, 3 copies, definitely a must. 3 copies of Gishki Vision, same thing as Gishki Shadow, except it searches out a monster, but it still fulfills the role of a water ritual tribute. And then 3 copies of Gishki Grim. This card's amazing. Not only does it fulfill the entire role of a water ritual monster tribute, but if it's normal or special summon, you can special summon 1 Gishki monster from your deck. So the great thing about that is that it's an easy combo straight into Gishki Abyss, and then there you're able to search out your Gishki Shadow. So that's really great to do there. Then we have 3 copies of Beautiful Princess. This card is amazing too, just because you can go straight into Gishki Grim, and then from there you can just do the combo that I just kind of explained earlier, just being able to do this in order to use your Gishki Abyss and all that. And then for the actual rituals, here I run 1 copy of Gishki Zaug, I guess, because this once returned you can pay 1000 life points, draw a card, and if you do reveal it, then it fills a Gishki monster. You can shuffle 1 card from the field into the deck. So really it's situational in the sense that, you know, you're only gonna be use it to like remove 1 card, but it's a 1 card removal that isn't destruction, that doesn't target, and you get to draw a card. You're just shuffling straight into the deck. It's a solid card. I think 1 copy is definitely a must here. Then I have 2 copies of Gishki. They're minus. So the great thing about this card is that when it's ritual summon, you can actually special summon a ritual monster from your gate. Or it doesn't have to be a ritual monster, but most of the time you're gonna be summoning a ritual monster. But you can target a water monster in your grave and special summon it. And he cannot be destroyed by battle with the monster special summon from the extra deck. And then once per turn, when your opponent activates a monster effect, you can return 1 Gishki ritual monster you control to the hand, and if you do, negate the activation. So the great thing about this is that it's not a hard once per turn, so if you have multiple copies here, like I have 2 copies, you're actually able to use this effect multiple times. Then I have 1 copy of Gishki Gust Kraken. So the great thing about this card is that when it's ritual summoned, you can look at up to 2 random cards in your opponent's hand, and then shuffle 1 to the deck. So obviously cards like this are solid. You just want to remove a card from your opponent's hand. It's great just removal in that sense, and it's a great first turn card, just to remove 1 more option from your opponent. Surface, I think, is a really good card. I decided to just run 1 copy of it. The great thing about this card is that you can get a lot of value out of it. So let's say, for instance, with Beautiful Princess, if you use it, like let's say you used it a previous turn and you use it to special summon it out, then yeah, you can go into the whole combo, the whole Gishki Grim combo I told you about. Gishki Grim, another target, you can do that as well. Gishki Abyss, when this card is summoned, you can add a Gishki monster with 1000 or less defense for your deck to your hand. So the great thing about that, you can get your Shadow or your Vision, and then you get access to, if you need a spell or a ritual monster, or maybe even get one of these Gishki Shadow, or it can't be Gishki Shadow but Gishki Vision, and then it could fulfill the entire tribute for a water ritual monster. So I think a Surface is really good, 1 copy. But yeah, I can see if you don't really want to run it just to run 1 copy, you can increase the copies or just not run it at all, but I think it's good just to have 1. Aqua Mirror Focalization, so this is one of the new spell cards from Photon Hypernova. It lets you add 1 Gishki monster from your deck to your hand. So the great thing about that is that you can go straight into your whole combo play just by searching it out with Focalization. And then during the end phase, if you control a water ritual monster, you can banish this card from your grave, set 1 Aqua Mirror spell trap from your deck or grave. So the great thing about that is obviously we're going to be setting Aqua Mirror Illusion. And it actually gives you a pretty amount of combos that you can do using this. So 3 copies I think is a must, just because of the search. Monster Reborn, because you want to bring this out a lot. You know, Gishki Abyss is like once per turn, just means that it's open to being abused here. 3 Salvage. Salvage is really good in this deck. If you get multiple copies of this card, you're able to do so much. just because you're able to recycle so many cards from your grave back into your hand, just because so many things are under 1500 or less attack that you actually want. So like Gishki Shadow, Gishki Vision, or Gishki, well, these are the main two you're going to be doing it for, just because they're not like hard once per turn, so you can keep searching things out. And then here for the actual like ritual spells, I have Gishki Photo Mirror. So I've seen a lot of people don't run this card. I have an argument kind of for this card. I know like obviously you're not going to be able to do anything once it gets to the grave, and you have to pay life points in order to get monsters out. But the nice thing about this is that you don't actually have to use monsters to summon a Gishki ritual monster. And I have a kind of a one card combo that I'm going to be showing you guys with the combo video that shows off like why Gishki Photo Mirror is pretty good, but I can see why you guys might not want to run it. But just going to show you guys the option of using this card, because it's actually a pretty solid card that a lot of people have kind of written off. And then here I have Gishki Ice Mirror, which is the new Gishki ritual spell, and you can either tribute one face-up monster your opponent controls, or just, you know, use the ritual spells you normally would, and then you lose by life points equal to the summoned monster's original attack. And then if this card's in the grave, you can target one Gishki monster in your grave, place it on top of the deck, and if you do, place this card back on the bottom. So just so it makes it searchable once again. So yeah, being able to tribute your opponent's monster is pretty solid, and pretty solid for going second as well. Just being able to use this to get one of your Gishki monsters by tributing is pretty nice, and definitely I can see the argument for running too. Then we have 3 Gishki Aqua Mirror. The great thing about this card is that it's just a normal like ritual spell, but you can shuffle this card from your grave into the deck, and then target one Gishki ritual monster in your graveyard and return that target to the hand. So this gives you so much recycle power just in this ritual spell. And then we have Called by the Grave, 1 copy, obviously. We don't like hand traps, so don't deal with that. 3 droplets, just because if you need to go second, you'll be ready. If you go first, you can set this down, and you can still be pretty disruptive using this. Infinite Impermanence, I mean, again, hand trap, and just getting value even after if you happen to go second. Aqua Mirror Illusion, this card's great because not only does it combo with the whole Aqua Mirror focalization, but then you know, if you just get on its own, then it's fine. I mean, you don't really want to draw this a lot just because you want to have the focalization and get it that way. But yeah, being able to special summon one Gishki ritual monster from your hand is pretty solid. And not only that, it also gives you fodder for your Narrow-Minus negate. If you guys are enjoying the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and make sure to check out the Patreon description down below and see if you can support at any tier. But here is the extra deck, and here I run Zeus because you're able to get some Xyz, and obviously if you can run Xyz, you want to get Zeus here. Super Dreadnought, Railken, and Gustav. Gustav Max is quite a long name. Obviously, if you're able to attack with these two, or if you have like happen to have 2 of these out, being able to attack for 6,000 and then detach for 2,000 means that you just win the game. And then Bahamut Shark, obviously, if you're able to get low 4s, this isn't going to be common, just so you know. You're not going to be able to get 2 Gishki Shadows out a lot, but it's good to have the option to just get a totally awesome out if you are able to do so. Stealth Kraken, same thing. If you decide you just want to do this to create some sort of water luck with your opponent, pretty solid. And then obviously the Kraken spawn in case they happen to get rid of the Stealth Kraken. Abyss Dweller 2 can be pretty disruptive, just having this out here. Sky Cavalry Centaura, just because you're able to get level 2s out a lot. Obviously you're going to want to have the Centaura here just so you can get an easier access to your Zeus. And then Gigantic Splite. Obviously you're going to get a lot of level 2s out, and if you end this at the end of your combo, you're able to actually get a free level 2 out of this. So pretty great. And then I decided to include Mech Knight Crusader Avermax just because I think this deck is kind of missing that oomph card that is actually able to like provide some firepower for it. And I think Crusader Avermax can provide that a lot. And sometimes you're gonna be waterlocked, but that's fine just because you can get IP Masquerade out beforehand, before you even get waterlocked, and then just link during your opponent's turn. Nightmare Unicorn, same thing with IP Masquerade, just link during your opponent's turn. If your opponent's playing water, then you're going to be able to use area to actually use that and then start link climbing. Sprite Elf, this card works really well with this archetype. Obviously, people are already running like the link to loop that you can do using Gishki, but Sprite Elf still works in this, and it's just like a cool part to include here. And then for the side deck here, these are just cards that I considered but ended up cutting. So 2 copies of Gishki Beast. I think this card is too slow to actually get some value out of it. And if you're going to normal summon, you're going to normal summon Gishki Grim most of the time. You'll want to normal summon this card. 2 copies of the Gishki Zyogus. Decided not to run this. I don't think it's good enough to have 2 other copies of it. If you're able to use this effect, fine. But if you can't, then it's gonna suck just to lose the extra 1,000. Eva Gishki Mind August. It's okay, you know, being able to target up to 5 cards in any grave and shuffle them back into the deck. It could be okay and somewhat disruptive for your opponent, but it's not that powerful, so wouldn't include that. Now, second copy of Gust Kraken, I think that could be interesting. Just because if you're able to get out 1 copy of Gust Kraken and then like ritual summon it out, or attribute that copy to get your other Gust Kraken, that could be pretty interesting. And can let you shuffle 2 cards from your opponent's hand back into the deck, which screws them for their next turn. Sky Palace Gengaradai. Don't think this is pretty great. If like for a level 10 exceed, you're not going to be going into that a lot. And I'd rather have the Super Dreadnought instead of this. Utopia Beyond, if you want a rank 6 exceed, it's an okay option. A second copy of Stealth Kraken Spawn, in case you really want to benefit from Stealth Kraken and you think that's going to be your main card. Borlo Dragon, another boss monster that you want to consider. You can see if you want to use that. The Starboy, this is a good way to power up your water monsters. If you want to do that, then that's a great way of going about it. Surface is okay too, like just including another copy. If you want to increase the consistency of the card, if you find out that you like really enjoy using that, then make sure to bump the copies of that. Moray of Avarice, just being able to banish a face up. You're able to get a lot of extra cards out on the board, so being able to banish and draw 2, that's pretty solid. Second copy of Gishki Ice Mirror. I mean, being able to tribute one of your opponent's cards to get a Gishki monster, it's a really solid card. I could totally see you running 2 copies and maybe even getting rid of the photo mirror for it, or the surface. That's definitely valid. But let me know what you guys think of the deck profile. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.